All right, let's talk about a few more tools on this window, and then we'll do a search. We can add rows simply, right, with this button here. And let's say we add 4, we start a search string and we add 4, and then we decide, I don't really need the 4th. You can go ahead and remove the row, of course. Many dissertations, let's go ahead and look here, many dissertations in the database are full text already. So I would, and actually I'd say the majority of them are, and some are not. I would say it's not a good idea to click the full text filter right off the bat though, because we can frequently find good possible sources that are not full text available in the database. And that's a good general rule for any database searching. Anytime you click the full text filter, you're going to remove most of the times 40 to 60% of the hits right off the bat. And I have seen instances where almost 80% of the 80% of the results were eliminated right off the bat. So it's not a very good idea to do that. The peer-reviewed filter or tool, I would not recommend turning this one on either, and that's because dissertations go through a different review process. It's not a full peer review. It's what's called a committee review. And so you're very likely to just go ahead and eliminate some results. There is a date tool here. It's a bit longer and complex. I think it's easier to filter for date within the results screen. So I'm going to show you that. If you want to play around with this one, it's not that hard to use. I just find it a little awkward. And of course, down here on the right, anytime you do feel like you need to clear the form, you always have that option. Okay. Down here at the bottom, this source type filter is going to be absolutely imperative for you. And the reason why is you can set the database. You can tell the database you only want dissertations and theses, and that's all it will look for. This is the document type is not necessarily useful. There is a language filter, right? So if any of you speak Albanian, right, when it, and that could come into play in your dissertation research, you could do that. I do know we have some Spanish speakers, and so you can filter for that. Alrighty. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a search in. Let's say interested in, indigenous or Native American concepts of leadership. So I'm going to go ahead and use 3 search terms. In the first one, go ahead and put in indigenous. And I'm going to go ahead and change this, though, to or. And put in Native Americans. The reason why I'm doing that is sometimes it's going to be hard to tell ahead of time what language is going to work within a database. The language of indigeneity is becoming much more commonly used, and so let's leave that open as a possibility. Down here, let's go ahead and leave the and in there, and we'll say shared leadership. Now, one of the things I'm going to do, a little trick I'm going to do here, is I'm going to go ahead and put quotation marks around the phrase shared leadership. That tells the database I want these words in this exact order. I want this exact phrase. Otherwise, what will happen is the database will go through and it'll find things with shared and with leadership. This is another way of getting a little bit more specific in our language. We could also come over here and change the filters and say, let's go ahead. Well, we could put it in subject. I'm going to leave it as, just leave it on the default because that's going to be really useful. It's going to search in a number of different areas, but not full text. Alrighty, and we come up with 2,224 hits. Right. Next little video, I'm going to go through how we can sift through this list using tools to kind of narrow the search a little bit. So, see you in a moment.